tank. He's good at setting traps. Has crazy power that he believes in. He has a great chin too because he's a guy. He'll let you get out punches and he'll still be coming at you. And then once he catches you,
all-time greats. Crawford's one of the best switch hitters I think since Marvin Hagler, and one of the most skillful boxers alive.
He has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight.
Errol Spence couldn't hide his shock after witnessing Terence Crawford's mind-blowing training ahead of the Canelo clash. Having once stood across the ring from him, Spence knew Crawford was special, but this was something else. As he watched the recent footage, he was left speechless by the sheer speed, surgical precision, and footwork that seemed almost inhuman. Crawford didn't look like a boxer, he looked like a machine built. When Terence Crawford looked back on his war with Errol Spence, one thing was undeniable: mutual respect ran deep between the two warriors. But behind Crawford's calm reflection was a glimpse into the mind of a calculated predator. Known for his
How hard does Spence hit?
He didn't hit that hard.
Well, he never caught you that clean. That was probably the best shot he landed.
No, he caught me a couple of times, but I was surprised at how hard he didn't hit.
Really?
Given that everybody say, oh, he's a big puncher, he's this. I think he's just a volume puncher. I think he just wears opponents down, just wear them down. I don't think, he has a one-punch knockout. He have power, but it's not like, boom, sleep. You know what I mean? I think it's like, bam, oh, boom, boom. And then he just wear you down.
Right, yeah. That is a difference, right?
Because if you look at his career, you never seen him, like, knock nobody out with one punch. You never see him, dropping nobody with one punch. You already see him like wearing them down. That's why he's so hard to the body, because he want to wear you down. Then once you get tired and once your body start weakening, everything start weakening, and those little punches that wasn't hurting start hurting.
Former world champion turned analyst Chris Algieri didn't hold back when drawing comparisons between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. In his sharp breakdown, Algieri highlighted a key difference: Crawford dominates, consistently and completely, rarely letting a fight slip from his grip. Canelo, on the other hand, has shown cracks under pressure, moments where he's been what insiders call bossed in the ring. The most glaring example? His defeat against Dimitri Bivol, where Bivol's size, jab, and unshakable discipline controlled every round. Algieri's take drives home a chilling truth: Crawford made
Terence Crawford. Who do you think can be the boss that night? When you talk about these two guys, you talk about two guys. Number one, you can't boss me around. Two guys, you can't even look at me a certain way without me feeling some type of way. These guys now have set their sights on one another. Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, we know the weight difference, but we've seen Crawford looks like he's coming up slowly to that weight class and kind of acclimating himself in real time. How do you see that fight playing out?
We're still pretty far away from that fight, and I'm going to hold my complete analytics. But I'll tell you this.
Contrast and compare, maybe not a pick.
But I'll tell you this. I've seen Canelo pushed around. I've never seen Terence pushed around. So if we're talking about who's going to be the boss, I've never seen anyone boss Terence Crawford. I've seen Canelo get bossed. So that just psychologically, when you think about that, and this is a fight where I flip-flop on both guys because there's so many good points. Yeah, but he's 168. Yeah, but it's Terence Crawford. He's undefeated. Well, yeah, no, this guy's beating this, but stylistic, even he hits him on the arm. There's so many different things you can talk about. But from a psychological standpoint, who's fresher, who's meaner, who wants it more? That's going to come into play.
As a boxing fan, how much fun is it to see those two attitudes come together? It's kind of like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object getting ready to collide.
I've worked a lot of Canelo fights. The Canelo fight, he plays to the crowd really well. His fans are awesome. I'm thinking about the Caleb Plant situation. I'm thinking about the Billy's Joe Saunders situation. When he gets that in his head that he's got an extra chip, he becomes a really dangerous man.
Veteran commentator Max Kellerman offered a measured yet revealing breakdown of the Crawford vs. Canelo debate, acknowledging that while both fighters bring unique advantages to the table, it's Terence Crawford who edges ahead when analyzing recent form and overall skill set. Kellerman pointed to Crawford's razor-sharp timing, devastating knockout power, and seamless switch hitting, attributes that have all peaked in the last few years. On the flip side, he noted that Canelo, though still undeniably elite, has begun to show subtle signs of decline, slower movement, diminished aggression, and a touch less explosiveness. Kellerman did concede that Canelo's size could play a role in close-range exchanges and clinches.
Counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall sweet recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov. So, and Canelo, though he has not stopped anyone in a while, we've seen he's a real puncher at 68.
As far as speed, who has a better speed?
You would imagine Crawford, given the fact that he is the naturally smaller fighter.
The dynamics of this mega fight are nothing short of captivating. Terence Crawford is venturing into uncharted waters, moving up in weight, a shift that often comes at the cost of speed and endurance. But across the ring, Canelo Alvarez, though seasoned at this level, is no longer the same relentless powerhouse he once was. His recent bouts reveal a fighter leaning more on cautious control than the ferocious pressure that defined his prime, with knockouts becoming increasingly elusive. This evolving version of Canelo creates an intriguing balance, while Crawford faces the physical challenge of a heavier division.
For Canelo, obviously at 168, he has been a bit of the smaller man at that weight class, and in the last couple of years has had trouble finishing opponents and getting guys out of there like he would have at 160 or 154. So you have a bit of it there. Both guys coming into this fight in the, let's say, twilight of their careers, or maybe twilight of their primes, however you want to look at it. Canelo is going to be, I think, 35. Terence is 38. So you have a similar situation, different paths, and different struggles for both fighters. But when you look at who has to do more in this fight, it's clearly Terence Crawford, as far as what he's giving up and sacrificing to win this third undisputed championship and to try to beat Canelo, who has only been beat twice in his career, one of which was Floyd Mayweather being slick and tagging Canelo with counter when Canelo missed, being the smaller, lighter fighter and up there in age that was still able to take advantage of the youth and experience of Canelo Alvarez, but also just being a defensive maestro and able to counter off of that. Floyd is one of one. And then you have Dimitri Bivol, who bigger was fighter, and the things that Canelo does very well didn't really hurt him too bad, right? The things that had carried Canelo up in division was his power and the ability to break an opponent down, maybe not stopping them in the early to mid part of fight.
Rising boxing star Abdullah Mason didn't mince words when sharing his bold prediction. He sees not just a Crawford win, but one that could shock the boxing world. Mason believes Crawford's power is dangerously underrated, and that underestimation might prove costly. While most narratives lean toward Canelo as the stronger man due to his size, Mason flips the script. He points to Crawford's ability to generate explosive power through perfect timing, sharp angles, and pinpoint precision, factors that can be even more devastating.
I'll say Canelo Crawford, your prediction quickly.
Canelo Crawford. I got faith that Crawford could take it. I got faith in Crawford. I feel like Crawford, he might surprise some people with his strength. So it all depends on who's the better fighter that night.
Dimitri Bivol, the very man who handed Canelo one of his most humbling defeats, recently gave glowing praise to Terence Crawford, and his words carry serious weight. After seeing Crawford up close, Bivol was impressed by how well he's bulked up and firmly believes Crawford has the tools to win this fight. And Bivol would know, he's already cracked the Canelo code. Highlighting Crawford's discipline, speed, and ring intelligence, Bivol made it clear, this isn't some long-shot underdog.
In Dubai, maybe a month ago, I saw him. He's big, and he has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight, but there is a lot of but, and even not but. There is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He need to get used to the power and pressure of 168 because it's different, big difference, to be honest. Maybe he will get used to it, and how he will be feeling himself on the same day when he will fighting, how his training camp will go on, a lot of things. But he's able, he has good skills, he's awkward. He can use two boxing stance. It gives him benefits, of course.
I was at that same event in Dubai just before Christmas, and I saw him too, and I thought exactly the same thing, which is that he is quite big.
Yeah.
Size obviously is important. Jamel Charlo stepped up from super welterweight to super middleweight to box Canelo, and it didn't work at all for him. But Crawford is, I mean, he's one of the best fighters in the world, isn't he? I mean, obviously
Keith Thurman delivered a sharp and layered analysis of the upcoming clash, noting that while the fight might appear evenly matched to casual fans, a deeper technical breakdown exposes key imbalances. He referenced Canelo's recent bout with Jermell Charlo, highlighting how Canelo visibly struggled once Charlo began using smart movement and footwork. Despite pressing forward, Canelo found himself unable to cut off the ring or land cleanly, his aggression neutralized by Charlo's ring IQ. Thurman argued that if Charlo could cause those problems, then Crawford, who is even more cerebral.
And, you know, we ain't getting punched in the face, so let's just watch the show and enjoy, people. You know what I'm saying? Let's just watch what these champions do. No matter what they do, they're both great. They're both going to continue to be great, but by the end of the day, one will be the above.
Your eyes?
It's not like, I think a lot of people are going to lean towards Canelo. I don't want to say it's like, I feel like for the fans, it's coming off 50-50. Like it's hard for me to really commit, because this is what happened, right? When Canelo just fought the Charlo, right? Charlo, he knocked Charlo down. But after he knocked Charlo down and Charlo was using ring movement, he never hit Charlo with another big shot, okay? This is what Keith Thurman is watching. I'm not saying like, oh, Canelo didn't do good. Like, Canelo dominated. That fight, he dominated, right? But let's just pay attention to little details, right? After he got dropped, he never got hurt again. Why, you ask? Why did Canelo not hurt him again? Oh, because he was on his bike, because he was using lateral movement, because he was watching with his eyes, and because he was being, you know, attentive with his defense, and he was able to make Canelo miss, but he was not able to make him pay.
On his podcast, Joe Rogan, joined by comedian and boxing enthusiast Mike Vecchione, delivered powerful praise for Terence Crawford, labeling him a great and dangerous athlete with unmatched skill, mentality, and dedication. Rogan emphasized that the upcoming clash with Canelo isn't just a monumental challenge, it's a legacy-defining moment and a massive financial opportunity for Crawford. He didn't hold back, boldly declaring Crawford as arguably one of the greatest boxers alive today, and that this fight could cement his place among the all-time legends. Crawford, speaking in his own words, echoed that same mix of calm confidence and sharp awareness. He acknowledged the size gap between him and Canelo, admitting that Canelo may try to wear him down with pressure and physicality. But Crawford made it clear, he's prepared for everything. His mindset reflects more than physical conditioning, it reveals deep psychological maturity. He's not
good, work has been going great, and fight time we gonna be prepared to put on a great show for you guys.
Has this been in your mind? We've been talking about it forever. Did you feel like this was eventually going to be the case, that you and Canelo were going to eventually get in there?
Not at all. I didn't think it was a fight that he wanted, so I didn't really know. But thanks to Turkey, Al-Sheikh, he made it possible, and we got one of the biggest in the last decade happening at Allegiant Stadium, September 13th.
When you get in there, what do you expect? Everyone's going to make a size difference, but what do you expect when you get in there with Canelo?
I'm expecting Canelo to be Canelo. He's the bigger man. I expect him to box a little bit, but I also expect him to try to walk me down and be the bigger man. So we expect everything in there.
I was looking it up, and I think the last time Bud Crawford was an underdog for a fight was the Prescott fight back in 2013. Any difference? Do you even pay attention to odds, or that doesn't matter to you when you step in there into the ring that night?
No, it definitely don't matter. The odds came to fight for him, so it is what it is.
Actor and martial artist Michael Jai White didn't hesitate when asked for his prediction. He's backing Terence Crawford to win. For White, the reasoning is simple: Crawford has been in this position before. Moving up in weight may seem like uncharted territory to some, but to Crawford, it's just another challenge, one he's proven time and again he can conquer. White pointed out that Crawford has a track record of dismantling bigger opponents.
No. So you would put your money on Crawford?
Yes.
You'd make money.
Okay.
Just put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Crawford's going to beat him?
Because Crawford could find people to fight like Canelo, who is amazing. Canelo has he's, oh my God, like his he evolved. I saw how he evolved defensively and everything. I just don't think he's as fast as Crawford. And I think Crawford is just a little step ahead as far as movement is concerned. And so I think it's going to be Mayweather Canelo Part 2. That's what I think.
I mean, Canelo is naturally heavier.
Yeah, Crawford ain't gonna knock him out.
Huh.
But I don't know if Canelo's gonna land very solidly on Crawford.
Calvin Ford, renowned trainer of Gervonta Davis, offered high praise for Terence Crawford's decision to take on such a colossal challenge. Ford highlighted that stepping into a fight where the odds, weight, and pressure are all against you requires more than just skill. It demands a rare kind of mental and spiritual strength. That, he said, is what sets Crawford apart from the rest. It's not just about the fight.
Be the best example for him.
Last question for you.
Canelo, who wins? Man, both of them guys are great. I respect Canelo. I respect Crawford to jump in and take a big fight like that. And that's what makes great fights, to see the big fight and wondering which side gonna win. But like I said, they say Canelo's the GOAT. I remember when Canelo fought Floyd, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like we getting another chance at seeing Crawford fight Canelo.
Veteran trainer Robert Garcia gave a blunt and insightful take on Canelo Alvarez's current fighting style, noting a clear evolution from the aggressive knockout artist of his early years to a more calculated, measured strategist. According to Garcia, Canelo now focuses on winning rounds, conserving energy, and avoiding unnecessary damage, an approach likely influenced by age and a desire to extend his career. While Canelo remains highly effective, Garcia warned that this more reserved style might
Canelo doesn't go out for the knockout anymore. Canelo's just now. We've seen in the last few fights, he just does enough to win. He did the same again. He dropped Munguia, but then they didn't want to finish him. Charlo, Berlanga. He wants to cruise through the fight. He's up there. not in age because he's only like 33 or 34, but he's
fighting since 15.
15. A lot of camps, a lot of sparring matches. So all that takes a lot out of your body. So he takes care of his body too. So he doesn't go all out because he doesn't want to just finish his body. He knows he still has a few more years and a few big fights where he wants to take care of himself.